Welcome back. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian Kibler, and we are settling in for the semifinals. The first match we're going to be checking in on is between Ao Paquette and Manuel Bavand. How's that matchup play out, do you think?
It looks a lot like the matchup that Levon saw in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's a good
against
point. He
Cornelsen.
just beat an Affinity deck.
He seems to have a solid matchup against Affinity, at least if the results of the quarterfinals are to be trusted.
Yeah, he won that in 4. So
yeah, he had some pretty explosive draws there, and Paquette's deck doesn't really have anything that Cornelsen didn't. So it looks like it may just be a repeat of the quarterfinals. Although Paquette actually, he does have his own Furnace Dragon plan in his sideboard. So,
interesting.
And I actually love Paquette's sideboard. Like so many players have tried to use the Furnace Dragon Seething Song plan for the Affinity Mirror, and a lot of times the problem with that is that both either card is pretty much dead on its own. You have to draw the song and the dragon in order to be able to play the dragon. And a lot of times you just lose games to a removal sideboard plan while you're just sitting with one in your hand. Paquette's plan was to board Serum Visions to increase the consistency of getting to the dragons.
Interesting.
So when the matchup really is all about dragon or no, I mean he just basically just condenses his deck to make it more likely that he actually gets to the dragon plan.
Bavand's actually suffering a little bit from splash damage here. I mean, I'm sure that Paquette had no idea he was going to be playing against Clark Clan Ironworks when he put that plan into his sideboard.
Probably not.
Bavand's deck is just as vulnerable to Furnace Dragon as the Affinity decks, right?
Paquette could actually board in his entire sideboard in this matchup.
Sure. 4-0,
he has
3-0.
4-0. I'm not really sure what happens with the rest of his deck, but I mean, all of his sideboard cards are good in this matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly has a better shot now that I'm looking at the deck again than Cornelsen did.
Okay.
Not really sure how the sideboarding plan goes. You probably don't want Somber Hover Guards. You probably don't need some of your creatures here and there. I don't know about the Moxes. He can probably cut the Welding Jars. So I mean, I'm not sure if you can really sideboard that much with Affinity without just disrupting the entire core of the deck. So it'll be interesting to see how Paquette does choose to sideboard this match.
Ao Paquette is 19 years old, from Vancouver, British Columbia. Lists his occupation as professional slacker.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Good job if you can get it. Number of times playing on the Pro Tour 2, and the previous time was Pro Tour Amsterdam earlier this year, where
he was also in the top
he made the top 8.
It's pretty remarkable.
If he gets through to the finals, I believe he gets Rookie of the Year, unless Julian Nalton also gets through to the finals, in which case they play for it.
Yes.
So pretty interesting there. Both of these pairings, by the way, are rematches of matches that happened during the Swiss.
Interesting.
Paquette beat Bavand in round 5 of Limited. Ogura beat Nalton in Block Constructed. So they haven't played...
Not really rematches of these decks, at least, but it's...
Yeah, they didn't play in Standard, but they have played. We'll see.
It sort of feels like baseball announcers or any sort of sorts of announcers that just name the most arbitrary statistics. It's like they played in Limited.
Yeah.
Like that's somehow relevant to this match. But
Paquette's other previous accomplishments: he made top 32 at Grand Prix Detroit, and he finished second in the Magic Online Worlds qualifier last year.
Cool Ao.
Cool Ao, indeed. He was the guy that lost to Gainsay. Andrew Cuneo got that spot.
How did the online qualifier do this year?
He did all right. I mean, he was holding his own. He was, I think, below 500, but certainly held his own.
500 record it's hard to get these days. You gotta claw back for it.
That's pretty good. So I think we've got some of our technical issues worked out. I mean, obviously those of you seeing me on the webcast have gotten them worked out as well, but I believe what I was hearing is that we were going to start up a QuickTime stream for those of you who couldn't get into the regular stream. So hopefully that's up and running and everyone else has been able to get on the webcast. Meanwhile, Manuel Bavand, 27 years old, from Paris, France. He's a computer game designer. Playing in, he thinks about his 16th Pro Tour. First one in quite a long time, though. Got in on rating. He's one of the best Europeans in terms of composite rating. 3 Grand Prix top 8s back in the day, 98, 98, and 99, plus a top 32 at Pro Tour Rome, which would have been back in 99. But Magic Online brought him back into the game, and He had quite a run, 6-0 on day one with this Ironworks deck. So he's 7-0 yet. He has not lost a match.
Pretty impressive.
Whenever you're ready, Justin.
Ironworks pretty much came out of nowhere this weekend in Standard. Sam Gummersall, actually, he went 5-1 with a Mind's Desire version of Clark Clan Ironworks.
Well, it looks like our players are about ready for the semifinals, so we'll be right back with semifinal coverage. Welcome to the Magic the Gathering 2004 World Championships. I'm Randy Buehler. I'm here with Brian Kibler, and it's time for the semifinals. Let him go. A.O. Paquette is on the left of your screen. Manuel Bavand is on the right of your screen. And this should be an interesting matchup. Manuel Bavand has gone 7-0 with a Clark Clan Ironworks deck that has nobody expected to be sitting here in the semifinals of the World Championships, but he's 7-0 with the deck. He took out an Affinity deck being played by Camille Cornelissen in the quarters, trying to do the same thing against Canadian rookie A.O. Paquette here. Who's your money on?
It's tough to say. We were discussing in the pregame, the big difference here between Bavand's quarterfinal match opponent is Paquette's sideboard. Paquette actually has 15 cards that are all good in this matchup. And I mean, he has the Seething Song Furnace Dragon plan, along with Serum Visions to find it, as well as 4 copies of a Null.
Well, we'll get to that in game 2. Meanwhile, he's got a Disciple the Vault and a Welding Jar here in game 1.
Disciple is probably the scariest card in the Affinity deck for the Ironworks deck to deal with. It can just deal so much damage, to the Ironworks player when they're just trying to go off with the combo.
Right. Yeah, the Ironworks combo involves sacrificing a bunch of artifacts in order to get mana from Clark Clan Ironworks. So he has to have, with Disciple of the Vault in play, he's got to have a pretty healthy life total or he just can't go off. Is he fast enough that the Disciple doesn't matter?
It's entirely possible. I mean, he did get to play first this game. Which
I mean, here he went land, and then he went land, Chrome Mox, Talisman, Thoughtcast. So he's set up. He's already got 4 mana in play in 2 turns, and he's gotten a couple more. Chrome Mox is unimprinted, though, so Chrome Mox was just played for the affinity value, and then he'll eventually sack it to Clark Clan Ironworks, I'm sure. So if he plays Ironworks next turn, is that good enough?
Probably. I mean, if he has the combo, it's pretty difficult for...
Paquette pings for 1 with the Disciple, drops a Worker and an Ornithopter. So if he goes land Ironworks, then he's got, he can get 12 mana. So if he's got land, Ironworks, and Incubator, then he wins.
Very lucky man.
Draws very slowly. That was one of those, please be the card I need. Flick. Was it? Doesn't look like it. Bavand stares over at the board.
He's not really under much pressure at the moment. I mean, he's only facing down 2 points of damage next turn, although a Cranial Plating would make it a lot more than 2 points of damage.
Bavand plays a land. Great Furnace. Wow. Game 1 is over on the back table already. Rio Ogura came smashing out with his Goblin deck. Jeez, Julian Naughton looks stunned as he shuffles up for the second game of that semifinal matchup. Jeez, Naughton just looking around, shuffling. Okay, I think he's got his composure back. Starts the sideboard, but he was just shaking his head. Ogura just smashed him. We get any more? Let's see if we can get any more details of that. We can. Let's turn the spotter's mic on. Let's go down to Justin Gary on the floor and hear what happened in that blistering game 1.
Yeah, well, it looks like it started with a double mulligan from Naughton, and then Ogura went Prospector, Sparksmith, Goblin Warchief, Siege Gang Commander.
Oh.
Game over.
Yeah,
They stalled it. Basically, now it
That'll
ends
do
up
it.
stalling at one land, and that you're not coming back from that.
wow, Rio Ogura wasn't supposed to get out of the quarterfinals, but now he's up a game in the semis. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Back on table one, Pentad Prism for Manuel Bavan. All mana so far, not a lot of action.
Blue. Colorless.
Blue, colorless. Is that a thirst for knowledge?
Yes, it is.
He's biggin'. If he can come up with an Ironworks and an Incubator, he should be able to take this first game, but Paquette's Affinity deck can explode at a moment's notice, so he doesn't have a lot of time left, especially with that Disciple in play. His combo requires him to sacrifice 6 artifacts. So, 7 artifacts. You have to count the Incubator.
5.
So, he's going to have it be on at least 8 life when he goes off, or he can't possibly win.
Perennial plating, perhaps?
Plating would be the best play for Paquette.
Attack for 2 is not the best.
Yeah, he just attacks.
No blockers.
Worker and Disciple.
2 damage.
Manuel 16, AO 20.
And drops.
Another Ornithopter.
Yep.
Unsend for 0. Okay.
Condescend for 0 from the just
Bottom.
scrying. Puts both in the bottom. Always what you want to see when your opponent scries. Looks like Ket's thinking if he wants to Shrapnel Blast right now. It's probably what he should do. Blast a Thopter.
Reading the forums again. Something must be wrong because now the video is working. Well, welcome to all of you who spent the morning trying to get into the webcast, and welcome. We still got lots of action today. We got the semis, then we're going to take a little lunch break. Still have the team finals where Germany and Belgium will be duking it out,
6 damage.
and then we'll crown a world champion.
Manuel 10, AO 20.
So Manuel is down to 10. Paquette did exactly what you suggested and went ahead and fired a shrapnel blast straight at Bavan's skull. Bavan knocks on the top of his deck. Knocks again. That was quick. Was it good news?
Cards.
1.
He's got to go off this turn. Can't afford to take any more damage.
That Ornithopter with a counter on it is actually pretty significant because
Yeah, he can
when
attack
he-
after he goes off.
yep. It's odd that Ornithopter is actually strangely important against the.
There's a reason it's in the deck. Yeah, there's the Ironworks. Does he have the Incubator? He's got enough. He can sack enough lands. He could fabricate for it too. He's got fabricate,
said
right?
Go.
Oh, he said go? Interesting. Can he survive another turn? He's at 10. He takes 2 down to 8. But then he'll take 1 from the counterattack. Oh, I guess he can just tap. He doesn't have to sack all the artifacts if he's got enough land. He might be able to pull it off.
Take it.
All right, he takes 2 down to 8.
2 damage. 8. Right.
Manuel is at 8, AO is at 20.
Shrapnel Blast will definitely end it. Not a great draw for either player. Bavan's been missing a combo piece. And Paquette just hasn't had a lot of pressure, but it might be enough. What's Paquette thinking about, do you think?
I think he might be trying to decide if he wants to Shrapnel Blast right now. I think he should if he has Shrapnel Blast.
Yeah.
He says go. Bavan untaps quickly. Draws. Incubator or no. think the answer is no. Yvonne doing the math. Can he survive another turn? The Walrus thinks that Mark Rosewater is actually a gnome. Saw the interview with Justin Gary. He's a living, breathing human being. I sit about 10 feet from him at work. I can verify this fact.
Was it 8:20?
Yep, seems to be working. I'm glad to have you guys aboard. Meanwhile, on the back table, we have a Goblin War Chief facing off against an Eternal Witness and an Astral Slide. That's a pretty good combo.
Yes, yes, it is.
Eternal Witness, Astral Slide will get the job done.
Ça, c'est la peine.
Krovax has got that back matchup all figured out. Gobspeed green-white slide? Yeah. The green-white player stalled at one land and Gob's got the god draw. That's why you run goblins. Your opponent hiccups? There are no wrong threats. Bhavan thirsts for knowledge. Wishes he knew how to draw a mirror incubator. Can he run the fireball plan?
I don't think so.
Not quite
Not
yet,
with
right?
Disciple in play.
Yeah, it
No,
seems
that's
like the
complicated.
disciples are problem.
That it is.
Yeah, I thought that would be a flaw. Seems like a flaw with the Ironworks plan, at least in game one. And then game two, do you think that Manuel is still a combo deck, or is he just a dragon deck?
I mean, the problem is that he can't, like, he can often play Dragon and not win.
Yeah, well, against the Camille in the quarters, he was still a combo deck. Just a combo deck that happened to have dragons, presumably.
I mean, you can very often actually just play a Dragon and get killed a couple turns later.
Is it, Kibble, are you speaking badly of dragons? I don't believe it.
I have no response to that. You got me.
You did get Furnace Dragon into the card viewer, though.
Ooh.
The card viewer thing seems kind of cool.
What Bhavan needs right now is a Sawtooth Thresher. I just wanted to get that into the card viewer.
I'm at 8.
Any Sawtooth Threshers? Come on, Thresher. Let's go. Yes! There it is.
I think we've given you far too much power.
And indeed drunk with power.
Mm-hmm.
Marked. Print.
All right, well, Bhavan plays a Mox.
Go.
and says go. What are the life totals these days?
8 to the 4.
8 to 20. 8's not very many.
It is indeed less than 20.
Paquette shoves his men into the red zone. Pavon pounds his chest. I take 2. Arcbound worker.
God.
And Pavon's at 6. This is actually a terrible draw from A.O. Paquette.
Wait.
He's been completely unfettered. He's just gold fishing. And yet, it's taken him, what, 6, 7 turns to win?
Wait. For free.
And the black.
Yeah. There was Shrapnel Blast, so
Boom.
that's the ball game. A.O. Paquette hangs the first win on the board. Yeah, let's hear it for him. The Canadian rookie takes a 1-0 lead against Manuel Pavon. Game wasn't particularly close. Pavon just couldn't draw up the pieces of his combo deck. I mean, that's the problem with an Ironworks deck. You've got to get 3 different cards put together. You've got to set up a board, maintain a life total, get an Ironworks, pull off an Incubator, and then be able to attack for the win next turn. So, couldn't pull it. We'll try to take a peek back on the back table now. See if we can get our Jim to check in on Game 2 of the other semifinal match. Paquette now leads Pavon 1-0. Meanwhile, Rio Ogura took the first game from Julian Naughton in about 4 seconds. A mulligan and a mana hiccup from Naughton, and that's all the Goblin player needed. It is 20-16 with a renewed faith on the stack right now. Charbelcher is added to the stack.
Got a plane. Just like this.
20, Julian, 22.
So yeah, it looks like that Eternal Witness Astral Slide combination is
Nothing.
fueling Julian Naughton. He's got 20 life, despite playing against goblins. That can't be good for the Japanese squad. Rooting section full of Japanese players over the rail. Rooting for Rio Ogura.
I already know that you're
Okay.
22.
I draw a card from Renewal Threat.
Yes.
He draws a card from that. I draw a card from Step. Right.
So Ogura did his best to Charbelcher away the Eternal Witness, but a flurry of cycling cards, and Naughton was able to protect it. Meanwhile, Oxidize, bang. Get the Charbelcher thing away. I like my Eternal Witness. No belching for you.
And Step.
And step, the Witness comes back, picks up Secluded Step. Is he going to go ahead and cycle it?
22.
Look at that, he's got a handful of cards. He's got 22 life now that a Renewed Faith resolved. 5 cards for Ogura. 3 Blinkmoth Nexi.
I'll discard a card. Go.
Oh, it was Naughton's turn. So it was his own end step, and he had to discard.
Discarded Wrath. That can't be, that cannot be.
It's not like he can't get back any card in his graveyard whenever he wants.
Still got to be discouraging.
Sure.
I'll just discard Wrath.
It makes a lot of sense why he got the Secluded Step back, though, with just 1 mana left. And he was about to pass the turn over to Ogura.
True.
Wants to be able to defend that Witness. This combo should be good enough to win in the game if he can keep it around. Justin, let me know when table 1's ready.
Okay.
Ryo Ogura is 20 years old.
Take.
He's a student from Nagoya, Japan.
21, 19.
This is his third time playing on the Pro Tour, and he qualified via composite rating. He's one of the top-rated APAC players. Does have a top 8 from Grand Prix Kobe on his resume, and also Grand Prix Nagoya. So he's been around. He's been playing for a number of years, and he's done all right on the Grand Prix circuit in Japan, but
Draw card.
this is the first real breakout performance on the Pro Tour itself. Pretty consistent performance on the weekend. He went 4-2 with Goblins in Standard. He went 5-1 with a red-green Freshmaker anti-affinity deck in block.
He went 5-1.
Sorry, so you're right. 5-1 in draft, then 4-1-1 to make top 8 with Freshmaker. Doesn't give himself a good chance to win, though. He says only 1%. Interesting story. He actually packed the wrong deck box for this tournament. He got here to San Francisco, and he realized he'd left his block constructed deck at home. So he had to piece together his block constructed deck. After 18 rounds, he's feeling pretty lucky to survive. Julian Naughton on the other side of the table, 15 years old. He's a student in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, playing in his very first Pro Tour. Qualified for Worlds by finishing second at Dutch Nationals. So he was a member of the Dutch national team, made some money from that this weekend, made some pro points from that this weekend. And he can definitely be Rookie of the Year if he wins this match. Did make top 8 at a Grand Prix earlier this year. I believe it was Antwerp. So that's where his first pro points came from. Finished 10th in Bochum at a team Grand Prix previously in his career. Grand Prix Brussels, sorry. 3rd at Grand Prix Brussels. 4-2 on day 1 with this green-white slide deck. Then he ran the table in Limited. Started at 4-2, got himself all the way to 10-2.
Circle.
That's hard to do. Those were some... Oh, Cop Red from Julian Naughton. That's got to be... It's really hard to imagine Ryo Ogura coming back from that. Not only has he got Slide Witness running, but now Circle. Yeah, Ogura just scoops him up. There you go. Julian Naughton evens his semifinal match, 1 game apiece. Now they're playing best 2 out of 3. Takes 3 wins to win, but each of them's got 1. So we'll head